Anin bojo Jauj Kobanezekwe Desnikas, Megazi Dodem, Bachuana and Donjaba, Ojibwe, Anishinaabe, and Dao. My name is Shoshona Kish, and I am Eagle Clan from a beautiful place on the shore of Lake Superior called Bachuana, which in the language means the place of the rapids. And I am recording today from Barrie, so-called Barrie, Ontario, which is Three Fires Médewiin Society territory, Anishinaabe, Wendat territory. And I'm really happy to be here with all of you today. I am an artist. I have a band called Digging Roots, and I am the artistic director of the Indigenous Music Summit. We are really proud to be presenting these beautiful artists here today and opening space for Indigenous voices. I think that the vision of the summit has been from the beginning to lift up each other in community, to amplify our beautiful stories and songs, celebrate our gifts together, and learn from the incredible and vast wisdom, innovation, and creativity of Indigenous peoples around the world. I also think that we have a very strong mandate to protect the sovereignty of our songs and stories. We know the power of our collective communities and the power of Indigenous artists. And our songs and stories are magic. They tell us who we have been, who we are right now, and who we can become. They are, in fact, the brain trust and the creative trust of our communities and traditions. And it is still in living memory here for us as Indigenous people from Turtle Island, a time when our songs and stories and ceremonies were outlawed, and when we were persecuted for speaking our own languages and lifting up our traditions and our voices in our own way. And so we know the power of coming together around our songs and stories, and we know that our voices continue to be silenced, and we want to be a part of breaking that open and amplifying them in the most beautiful and powerful ways, cracking open spaces and allowing for the wholeness of who we can be together with all the voices at the table. It is time to bring everyone into this circle, and that is when our greatest potential can be realized. So I want to be a part of that movement, and we are really, really grateful for this opportunity to lift that up. I would like to introduce to you our elder to do a traditional Anishinaabe opening for us. Anje Benisikwe is a beautiful grandmother, and she is my mother, and a traditional woman from our territory, and I'm very proud to present her to you today. And after that opening, Amanda Rayom, who works very closely with me at the summit, she is my partner in crime in doing this work together, and a very fine artist in her own right, will be our MC for the day. So enjoy, and much love to you from Turtle Island.
Bojo, Anja Benisikwe, Indigenous cause, Makwa and Dodem, Niso Madewayan, Bawating and Donjaba, Anishinaabe Kwe and Dao. Miigwech Gajemini Do, for this beautiful life, for all the life that sustains our life. Miigwech Gajemini Do, to our ancestors, to those ones who held on to our ceremonies, to our prayers, and to our songs. Miigwech Gajemini Do, for this beautiful gathering. Miigwech to the musicians that will lift up their voice. Miigwech for our place as Indigenous people in this beautiful circle, this beautiful gathering. I am remembering the prophecy of the condor and the eagle, and how it was told that we would come together and lift up that friendship, lift up our relationship with each other and renew it. I can't help but feel that this event is honoring that. And taking up its place. Miigwech for music, the beautiful language that music is. Miigwech for the way that it touches and opens us. Miigwech for the way that it helps us heal. It helps us celebrate. It helps us come together. I am so grateful for music and so grateful for this beautiful event, this beautiful coming together. Especially in these times, I'm giving thanks to Gajemini Do for the courage to follow through and to keep this gathering, to keep it happening and to stand it up even in this time. What a wonderful act of courage. What a wonderful act of faith. Miigwech to each of you, all of you that are doing this work. Miigwech to the musicians lifting up their song, to those who are holding the place for that to happen and doing all the work that supports that. Miigwech, Nakanagana, we are all related.
Anin Bojo, Amanda Rayom, Indigenous, Laxul and Donjaba, Anishinaabe, Ake and Donji. My name is Amanda Rayom. I am a citizen of the Métis Nation. My Anishinaabe relatives come from Laxul, Ontario, and I am currently on the unceded and unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. I am an artist, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm also the Director of Operations for the International Indigenous Music Summit. Miigwech for being with us here today. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors and partners and everyone that contributed to make this happen. So I'd like to thank Heritage Canada, Indigenous Performing Arts Alliance, and Indigenous Music West. I'd also really like to thank our team, Sergio Elmir, Cynthia Licker Sage, Jade Harper, Alex Bardocus, and of course, Shoshone Kish. And I'd really like to thank the festival for making this space for these important Indigenous voices. All right, let's get to the music. I'm going to introduce you to Kaylee Cardinal. Kaylee Cardinal is a Métis singer-songwriter from the Northern Prairies. She won the 2020 Juno Award for Indigenous Artist of the Year. Kaylee's voice brings to mind the deep soul singers of old. She has so much nuance, spirit, and tone invested in every note. Please welcome Kaylee.
My name is Kaylee Cardinal, and I come from Northern Alberta. I am Cree Métis, and my grandmother was also Cree Métis. Her name was Rose Campbell, and she passed away many, many years before I was born. She passed away when my dad was just a youngin', and that inevitably led to my dad and his brothers and sisters being put into foster care, which means that I didn't have access to my culture and traditions when I was growing up because my father was put into white Christian foster homes. And what that has led to is me now being on a journey to reclaim and to learn about my cultural history. My creative process is not really, it's not super active. I have a lot of music that comes to me in big waves, and then it feels like there's a long period of waiting. Songs sometimes come to me, full songs come to me in dreams, and usually it's just something that it hits me, it rushes over me, and the process itself is the editing of all of this stuff that comes to me. It's always felt like I feel like more of a conduit in that I get messages and I get music, and these are gifts that are given to me, and it's my job to translate them and to share them. My cultural identity is deeply woven into my music in the sense that it's part of the journey that I've been on for such a long time. First of all, growing up without the culture, but growing up with the racism meant that I always kind of felt like I was navigating between worlds. I was raised white, and I was visibly not white. And it meant that it impacted me, it impacted my self-esteem, it impacted my self-worth. And these are things that are the building blocks of who I am this day right now. And when I write about my personal experiences and my stories. So that comes out in everything. But now that I'm on the journey of reclaiming my cultural identity and learning more about myself, my family, my grandmother, where I come from, that is now part of the stories that I'm telling. So it's all connected for me. It's all part of who I am. And it's like I said, deeply woven in all aspects of me and my music. I really would love the opportunity to have some musical collaboration with other South American musicians and learn more about the popular genres of music in South America. I feel like that's something that I don't really know a lot about. And I'd love to see the similarities and differences between the music that we feature a lot in North America versus the highlighted music in South America. I would love to take those differences or similarities and put them together and see what kind of music could come from that. And I also am really interested in learning about the impacts of colonization in South America as compared to the impacts in North America, because that's my experience and I know how it's affected me. But I would love to learn about those impacts and see, how folks are dealing with it within South America, how it's affected their day to day. And I think that that's a really great opportunity for learning, how to move forward and how we can kind of decolonize or, indigenize ourselves and our communities.
Well, you know that you had me from that first drink, when the wine made my cheeks flush crimson pink. You know I gave into the sparkle in your eye, with that whiskey kiss and your come the smile. So when I was persuaded we had something more rare and more extraordinary than simple exclusivity, I started to feel it and to know it and see what was laid out for me. Oh, the devil looked me in the eye. He told me all of his tricks and he shared all of his lies, and I habits that I ain't quit. And I got some awful, dirty, nasty, evil tricks. Well, I got piles of trash, got layers and layers of scars. Got a lot of junk to get through to get to this jaded old heart. But you blew in like a warm breeze in the spring. You shake off the dust, your finger green back to everything. And there ain't no way I'm gonna let you go, baby, baby. There ain't no way I'm gonna let this slip away. There ain't no way I'm gonna let you go, baby, baby. There ain't no way I'm gonna let this slip away. There are places, real dark places that I'll hide. And I got poisons, oh, so many poisons to ease my mind. And I'll drift away even when you're holding me tight. I got a lot of repairing left to do to make everything alright. There ain't no way I'm gonna let you go, baby, baby. There ain't no way I'm gonna let this slip away. There ain't no way I'm gonna let you go, baby, baby. There ain't no way I'm gonna let this slip away. I'm working too hard to be worthy of your love. I'm getting stronger every day. Ooh. Your love gives me something to hope for. And there ain't no way I'm gonna let you slip away. There ain't no way I'm gonna let you go, baby, baby. There ain't no way I'm gonna let this slip away. There ain't no way I'm gonna let you go, baby, baby. There ain't no way I'm gonna let this slip away. There ain't no way I'm gonna let you go, baby. There ain't no way I'm gonna let this slip away.
Chimigwech Kaylee for that wonderful music. Next, I'm going to introduce you to Don Amaro, an engaging storyteller, singer-songwriter, and performer. He's a 3-time Juno Award nominee. He's of Cree and Métis heritage and has been tirelessly touring, performing, and speaking across Canada for the last decade, earning the respect and attention of the Canadian music industry and fans alike. Please welcome Don.
Hi, I'm Don Amaro from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I'm a proud Métis. So for me, I grew up in a relatively cultureless home. I had Cree and Métis roots on my mother's side. I had East Coast, Acadian European descent on my father's side, but I kind of didn't really have a connection to either side. And as I became a musician, I realized more and more that I wanted to have a strong connection to my roots and on both sides. And at one time, I believed it was kind of this no man's land that I lived in, only to realize many years later that what actually existed and where I stood was in this bridge that was between all peoples. And I feel like my place in it has really grown and solidified, not only in my culture, but also as a musician. And those two have grown hand in hand on my journey. So my creative process is different every time. I'd like to say that when it comes down to creating music, it's one specific way. But as artists, we find inspiration wherever it comes from, and you can never really kind of capture that in a couple of sentences. But for me, it's Oftentimes it starts with music, but sometimes it's a story, sometimes it's a lyric, sometimes it's just living life, and either these days watching my kids doing their thing and inspiration strikes. But for me, it's always been about how can I, whatever it is that I'm doing, how can I offer it to somebody else that would serve them in their daily life, and that would cause them to go off and live a better day. And one of my hopes, oftentimes, whether you hear a song of mine on the radio or you come to one of my shows, that the world doesn't quite feel as heavy after a Don Amaro concert. Yeah, I'd say for me, my cultural identity, and I for a long time, I remember growing up, again, saying with my dad being from Nova Scotia here in Canada and sort of East Coast Acadian roots, and my mom being from here in the prairies with her Indigenous roots, I always felt like I was kind of in this no man's land because I was connected to no culture, really, it seemed. Only to discover a few years later that where I stood was not this no man's land, but rather in the middle of a bridge that I think was needed treatment, needed care. And here I am now standing in the middle of this bridge where I think our country is really having the conversations as to how we can make things better between all peoples. And so for me, it's really integral to my journey as an artist, and being part of that bridge building and wanting to create opportunities for discussion and community to kind of come together. And so for me, it's very integral in my journey as a musician. This world is so huge, and there's so much opportunity beyond our borders here in Canada. And one of the things that I have not taken advantage of yet is sort of finding ways to build those bridges beyond our own nation. And that's one of the things that excites me, is the idea of going into South America or anywhere in the world, but particularly South America would be an honor, because I know that the Indigenous communities there have also been through an incredible rebirth and finding their roots and grounding themselves too. And for me, that would excite me to be part of that journey as well. And just to kind of dive deeper into the stories of the people. I think that's one of those things that always enriches my life and allows me to walk away with stories that inspires me to, again, go and create more. I guess my hope would be, again, just sort of building that relationship, and I've got stories, but I know there's rich stories that exist there that I feel like, my life would become all the richer in finding out those stories. And so for me, it's really about, again, that sort of coming together, the communities serving one another. I think there could be an interesting cultural exchange. It'd be really cool to kind of see some of my musician fellows down in South America also coming up here and spending time with us. And I think it could be really, again, interesting exchange. Yeah, the eagle and the condor prophecy, it's relatively new to me. I wasn't aware of it, but knowing that we were going to be speaking about this today, I did a little bit of research, and the idea that these two communities, the people of the eagle and the people of the condor, coming together and sort of bettering the whole community of the world. I love that idea, and I think that no better time than now to sort of find a way to change the fabric of society, in a way, so that way we can build a better tomorrow for our children and our children's children. I think we're pretty desperate for that change now, and I think we're on the frontier of some of that happening. And this opportunity to be here with you guys today has proven that we're doing those things, and I'm excited to be, I guess, maybe seeing this prophecy fulfilled, now and in the coming days.
2, 3, 4. Ain't nowhere to go up against the ropes when lonely hits the heart like a heavy blow. Well, I ain't scared to fight, but I've been wearing down. It's hard to throw a punch when you're on the ground. You might think that the fight is over. It might look like I'm down for the count, but I'm a rolling stone. I'm wild and free, and if no one's by my side, out of there, middle of nowhere. You might just see trees and weeds and dirt, but I call it church. Hey, 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 hey. It ain't nothing but a river, a little place I float on an old John boat. Might look like just a riding reeling worms, but I call it church. Hey, 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 hey. It ain't no Sunday morning, it ain't no preacher preaching, but out here in the quiet, I can hear him speaking to me. Out where the wild things go, out on this country road, sun, the stars, and the Holy Ghost. Yeah, I go to church. Some nights I sit out on the hood of my old truck at Alica, and I feel like I can see the whole wide world. Yeah, I stare at that full moon, I drink a beer, breathe in the air, and I thank him for the more than I deserve. And I go to church. Hey, 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 hey. It ain't no Sunday morning, it ain't no preacher preaching, but out here in the quiet, I can hear him speaking to me. Out where the wild things go, out on this country road, sun, the stars, and the Holy Ghost. Yeah, I go to church. I go to church. No people, no pews, no steeple, just blue skies. I'm praying with my eyes wide open, wide open. Oh, it ain't no Sunday morning, it ain't no preacher preaching, but out here in the quiet, ooh, it ain't no Sunday morning, it ain't no preacher preaching, but out here in the quiet, I can hear him speaking. Out where the wild things go, out on this country road, sun, the stars, and the Holy Ghost. I go to church. It ain't no Sunday morning, it ain't no preacher preaching, but out here in the quiet, yeah, I can hear him speaking. I go to church. I go to church. Hey, 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 amen.
Chimigwech Don. Our next performer is Sebastian Gaskin. Sebastian is a multi-instrumentalist R&B singer-songwriter based in Winnipeg. He grew up in Tarasqueyac Cree Nation. Sebastian writes and self-produces music that is anything but formulaic, thanks to his eclectic musical tastes in R&B, hip-hop, metal, and punk. Please welcome Sebastian.
My name is Sebastian Gaskin. I am a R&B and soul artist based out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm from a reservation called Tarasqueyac Cree Nation, which is located about 12 hours north of Winnipeg. My creative process changes from time to time. Sometimes a song may start out on the guitar. Some other times it may start out on the piano. More often I find that my songwriting will start with a melody in my head, while I'm doing chores around the house or whatever. I do believe that it is important to remember the responsibility that falls on Indigenous creators, especially for, in terms of paving the way for the younger generation and, passing on those teachings. I would love to do a sort of musical cultural exchange of sorts. I've always been a big fan of Spanish music, South American music. Flamenco guitar is extremely beautiful, so it'd be cool to meet some flamenco guitarists. It would also be great to even try to do some songwriting in Spanish.
We've been trying to hear from the trauma, a generation raised by mamas.
been trying to count up some commas. I've been trying to count up some commas. Do it for the future generations. Try to fill them with the inspiration. But nothing's ever given to you without hard work or dedication. Yeah. We are all profiting from our traumas and transgressions. Lately I'm feeling so numb, and I got some confessions. One day I know it will come, but till then I'm bands getting. I hope you never succumb. I hope you learn lessons. Cause we all have our burdens, and some can find in churches, and some like to buy purses. I think that we're all just searching for love. We're searching for love, yeah. Searching for love. We're just searching for love, for love. Yeah, we're just searching for love. We're just searching for love, yeah. We're just searching for love. Tell me, can you hear me? Can you feel me? Cause I feel you. Hold up, I think I just caught a fire. Hold up, let me get out on my ride. All these voices that I hear inside, I just gotta show another side, show another side of me, another side of me, another side of me, another side, another side, another side. Cause we all have our burdens, and some can find churches, and some like to buy purses. I think that we're all just searching for love. We're just searching for love. Oh, searching for love. So we're just searching for love. Got another brand new tune for y'all. Just wrote this one a few weeks ago. It's called Won't Be There Anymore. Can you hold me to the blue light? Man, the time we had just flew by. Baby, when I left, did you cry? Dream of diving in your blue eyes. And I heard you got a new guy. Does he know about you and I'm just glad to hear you getting by. Glad to hear you getting by. And I know, it's too late to go back. Before we were purple, blue, and black. So if you try to dream of I
Miigwech Sebastian. We have one more performer for you today, but before that, I'd like to take a moment to invite everyone to come to the International Indigenous Music Summit happening next year, June 7th to the 12th. We are very much hoping to host the gathering from unceded Algonquin territory, also known as Ottawa. But if we can't do that, if we can't gather in person, we are definitely going to be hosting a virtual gathering. So we'd love to see you there. And that means you can join us from wherever you are. All right, one more artist. I'd like to introduce you to Mo Clark. Mo Clark is a multidisciplinary Métis artist, a nomadic songbird with wings woven from circle singing and spoken word. She's a mistress of the looping pedal. She creates sonic landscapes of layered voice that invite audiences into a trance-like space. An artistic producer, she has collaborated on numerous projects as well. Please welcome Mo Clark.
Tanse Netsigasan Mo Clark Ekwa Nigamo Peseo Nitotsin Otosquanek Maganiwigan Jojage. Hi, my name is Mo and I'm coming to you from the forest on Mount Royal in the unceded territory of the Ganyenge Haga people in Montreal. And I am going to sing a couple songs today. The first song that I want to sing for you to bless this feast with music and voice and language was written inspired by the earth, inspired by my ancestors, and the song is called Askiwi Pimachio Washtikewina. And it was created in collaboration with one of my elders, Joseph Natauhau, in Nehiawewin, which is Plains Cree, one of my ancestral languages. And the song translates to mean making a good living for oneself on the land while honoring the gifts of creation. And this was one of our treaty values when Treaty 7, Treaty 4, when the treaties were signed out west. So I want to wish this for you all, health in your homes and love in your hearts. And I hope you have a beautiful feast.
Ashike wina, me you.
We never know where spider will go, down or up, maybe through 8 nimble limbs, scurry along, trace thin skin up the back of a hand, or perhaps through a cluster of stars. Kukumanakasis weaves a web in sky. 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 Like the crocheted constellations or beaded maps of our grandmothers, tough enough to carry the weight of knowing. She threads worry beads and spirit scenes, iterations of ancestral intuition pulled from gut deep, spun together as one thick silk, making beauty from sacrifice. Would Achakos Esqueo have chosen to come if she knew what was at stake? She peers through Bakane Kisik down to Aski as indigo waters rise, maybe. Would she have chosen to leave sky had she known what was to become? If you had to choose between living a galactic existence among stars held together in Achak-Sipi, or an earthbound presence grounded by gravity's desire for more weight, which would you choose? Spider crawls up my left arm, takes refuge in the cradle of my collarbone, like Pakane Kisik, hole in the sky. Achakos Esqueo peers through the council of 7 glinting faces, some call Pleiades constellation. Achakos Esqueo dives down from sky, rides the spiral stairwell woven of luminescent thread, suspended from the belly of Kukumanakasis, giving her just enough leverage to descend. Kukumanakasis weaves a web in sky. Kukumanakasis weaves a web in sky. One condition. She has but one condition. If Achakos Esqueo drops down to the turtle's back, she must leave all behind, and that single thread will remind her of her relations in sky. When Achakos Esqueo arrives on Aski, Kukumanakasis thread gets cut like the umbilical cord at birth, to one day lead her back to sky when she dies. but she must leave all behind. She must leave all behind when she returns to her place of birth at Jaksipi. Origin markers woven long and thin. Some say spider's thread is stronger than steel, but is it stronger than sin? Then all are forgetting. Kukumanakasis weaves her web in sky. 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 Spider repels down my earlobe, whispering as they go. All I need to hear. Will I remember Kiskisowin? Will I remember Kiskisowin? Will I remember Kiskisowin?
Ojo, Anjabanisi Indigenous Cause, Bakwa and Dodem, Nisa Madewian, Bawating and Donjaba, Miigwech Gajemini Do for this beautiful gathering, Miigwech for the music, Miigwech for the goodness that we shared, Miigwech for all the workers that held this together in a sheltered way so these voices could be lifted up. I am so grateful. Miigwech for the music. Miigwech, Miigwech, Miigwech. Nakanagana, we are all related.